Welcome back to another video. I am Plant-Based Gabriel. Thank you so very much for tuning in. And within the thread of the past couple of nightly live streams or uploads that I've been doing, we are going to be reading, or I'm going to be reading, an excerpt from my new book, The Plant-Based Diet for Beginners. It's out for pre-order now. You can check it out on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Angus & Robertson in Australia, Amazon in Canada and the UK, anywhere that major books are sold. We're really excited about it. And ships December 10th, just in time for the holidays. But today, what excerpt we're going to be reading is on health. In particular, it is going to be on long-term health, longevity. And so the topic we're covering is health, and it is under the chapter or the section Why Whole Food Plant-Based. That's on page 5, and then we jump right into it. And then on page 7 we jump to the subsection of health. And so I'm going to be reading the last paragraph in the health section, just kind of an overview of why whole food plant-based. Here we go. Beyond the treatment of the aforementioned chronic diseases, healthy individuals can also benefit greatly from a whole food plant-based diet. Dan Buettner's research on blue zones, where the world's longest lived populations are located, has shown that one major common denominator among long-lived populations is eating a more plant-based diet. The Seventh-day Adventists of Loma Linda, California, are a blue zones populations that have been studied for decades through what are known as the Adventist health studies. Some groundbreaking findings from a study in the Archives of Internal Medicine found that meat-eating Adventists were twice as likely to develop dementia as vegetarians. And vegetarian men and women lived 9 and 6 years longer, respectively, than their non-vegetarian counterparts. So basically what that's saying is, what the research shows is that the Adventists are a kind of a population of people that eat a very similar diet, can have very similar lives, and practice the same religion. So a lot of similarities there, but one difference is that some Adventists don't eat meat for religious reasons, and some choose to eat meat. And so what the studies found is that the ones that were eating meat were twice as likely to develop dementia as their non-meat eating counterparts. Incredible, especially as dementia, we're seeing it just ravage through our society, and it's turns out it's something that you could really put a dent in. A great book to look into, a great resource, is Dean and Aisha Shirzeh, the book The Alzheimer's Solution. And as someone who's experienced Alzheimer's in their own family, and my grandmother, my dad's mother, we took her in, or my grandpa had passed away. We took my grandmother in, and for 8 years, we were her sole caretakers, my mom, my dad, my sister, and myself. So I got to experience it firsthand. It's an experience I'll never forget. It's something that I cherish, having, my grandma with us, and even as she was deteriorating mentally and physically, it was just amazing to be able to spend that time with her. But to watch someone go from cognitively sound, a fit individual, and just day after day, year after year deteriorate. It's something that I wish on nobody, not even the worst enemy ever. I would never wish that on them. But we're seeing that meat-eating counterparts to non-meat-eating counterparts were twice as likely to develop dementia. And then here's the most incredible part of the research was that it found that the non-meat-eating Adventists, men, lived 9 years longer than meat-eating Adventists, and women who were not eating meat lived 6 years longer than their meat-eating Adventist counterparts. Incredible, incredible, incredible stuff. And so we talk about whole food plant-based diets, and I got asked a few questions this week, especially talking about, well, Gabriel, you talk about a plant-based diet. I see the plant-based diet for beginners, but I'm worried because I see a lot of people talking about a plant-based diet from one perspective, and that perspective being weight loss. And that's because a plant-based diet is so effective for weight loss, especially when over half of our population, adolescent, juvenile, adults, are all dealing with obesity, overweight, and the chronic diseases that develop due to that and due to the standard American horrible diet. So things like obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease. And so losing weight and weight loss is a big factor when we're talking about a whole food plant-based diet, and it's an amazing part of a healthy whole food plant-based diet. But it's not the whole story. And we talk about these populations of people. And go ahead and leave a comment below if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them, and we'll be sure to get to them. And also, let me know if you've ordered the book, or if you're going to get it for a gift, or what do you think? Just let me know how you're doing tonight. Also, if you think this is going to be helpful to someone, make sure you hit the like, share, and tag someone in it. But so, when we're thinking about what does a whole food plant-based diet, what can it do for me? Well, if you're someone who's at a healthy body weight, and that's why I really wanted to add that little section in the book, was to reassure those that, hey, it's not just a quick fix like a lot of diets and diet books and all the gimmicks and schemes and tips and tricks that you think you've heard and tried and failed on in the past, and myself being someone who's experienced that. It's the fact that a whole food plant-based diet we've talked about it yesterday, it's not just a diet, it's a lifestyle, because of how sustainable it is, how cheap it is to buy the food that you're going to be eating, how simple to prepare the recipes are, so it's not going to take a lot of time, and how enjoyable it is. The food's tasty, the food is satiating. But so we're talking about longevity and a healthy individual. So if you get on a whole food plant-based diet and you're at a healthy body weight, are you going to lose weight? Well, if you're someone who feels like you're at a healthy body weight, but you're still carrying around those extra 10, 15 pounds that, your mom might say, oh, that's just a little bit extra love there, or, this or that. Well, guess what? Yeah, you might lose that extra body weight. You're not going to go down to bare bones, though. So when your body hits, if you're at a good body weight, if you're an athletic build, if you're an athletic individual, and you get onto a plant-based diet, you're not going to wither away. You're not going to just start hemorrhaging muscle and just getting down to bones, skin and bones, as many people worry about. Not a ton of people, because most people are overweight already, and so when they get on the diet, they're trying to lose weight. But if you're someone at a healthy body weight, as long as, and let me just make this a million times clear here, as long as you are eating a calorie-sufficient diet, meaning if you're a man or woman and you are active or non-active, depending, wherever you're at, but say you need 1,800 calories to maintain your current body weight, and you can calculate that very simply online. But say you need 1,800 calories a day to maintain your current body weight. If you get 1,800 calories from whole plant foods, those are going to be high carbohydrate, high fiber, lower fat, moderate protein, oil-free foods, so things like rice, beans, potatoes, corn, quinoa, sweet potatoes, oats, fruits and vegetables, and you're getting enough calories from those, which is very simple to do, it's very tasty to do as well, then you will not begin hemorrhaging away your weight. Where you begin to lose weight is if you're someone who needs 1,800 calories to maintain your current body weight at your current activity level, and you're eating 1,500 calories a day, then you will begin to lose some weight. You'll begin to trim down. And if you're someone who needs 1,800 calories to maintain their current body weight, but you're 15 to 25 pounds overweight, well, then getting 1,500 to 1,600 to 1,700 calories a day is going to move you down to your, to where your future or healthy long-term body weight would be. So it's not a scary thing. It's not something that you should get too wrapped up in. If you are getting enough calories from a whole food plant-based diet, one's built around the simple starchy staples like rice, beans, potatoes, oats, corn, quinoa, then you will maintain your current body weight. Your body may change, and that does happen to a lot of people as they're adopting and beginning a plant-based diet. They will notice that, wow, those love handles that I had, or, that extra weight up around the shoulders or the chest or the backside or the hips or wherever, the legs, wherever you had it, and they're on a plant-based diet for, 12, 18, 24 months, they may notice that, hey, I was at my healthy body weight. Say you were at 175 pounds and you were a 6-foot male. Well, you may want to be around 171, you're around a healthy body weight, and you're adopting a plant-based diet, and then in 10, 12, 15 months later, you say, wow, I'm still 175 pounds. I guess a plant-based diet, I'm kind of active, didn't do much. But then you show up to a reunion or someone sees you, they say, whoa, hello, Mr. Universe. What have you been up to? Or Mrs. Universe? Or, and that's going to happen if you're in living an active lifestyle. It's not just going to happen sitting on a couch. You'll lose weight and get down to your healthy body weight without too much activity level. That's been documented well in the research showing about a plant-based diet, and we talked about that yesterday. But if your body will change. So that is another thing. We talk about long-term health. Well, long-term health goes into maybe some exercise level. It's not a mandatory to lose weight on a plant-based diet, but if you're trying to maximize your long-term health, maximize your long-term cognitive health, the research does show that certain levels of activity are going to be beneficial to not only sustaining a healthy body physically, but a healthy body mentally as well. And so, yes, that does help, but so your body's not just going to lose all the weight. You're not just going to hemorrhage away your muscle, hemorrhage away your body will change. It doesn't happen fast, right? I lost 100 pounds. I was 100 pounds overweight after breaking my back at the University of Nebraska, where we did, and I was the starting long snapper, and we beat the Georgia Bulldogs in the Gator Bowl. Go Huskers. But we talk about, how I lost my weight. It didn't happen like that overnight. It was a course of 2 years where I lost around a pound a week on average, some weeks more, some weeks less. But after 2 years, after 100 and a few weeks, I was down 100 pounds. And the great thing is I didn't lose it like that, like a lot of people on some fad diets may. They may lose 25 pounds in a month. You might hear about that, or 30 pounds in, 30 days or something crazy. But here's the deal. It's not always 100% correlative, but a lot of times those individuals, when they lose weight like this, are the first ones to gain it back like this, because they either did it by starving themselves, they did it by a very excluding diet, they did it through pharmaceutical means, they did it through, there's a lot of different ways. But then as soon as they reintroduce a diet, that's a sustainable way of eating back, they put on that weight. Either they're retaining water, they're retaining all these, but we're talking about a whole food plant-based diet, a healthy plant-based diet, one that's built around the simple starchy staples with the addition of fruits and vegetables. We're talking about one that is going to be satiating with a lot of fiber and water, one that's going to fill you up without filling you out. So one that's going to be sustainable, because if you are someone who needs to lose weight, it's going to happen slowly and steadily, which is also pretty easy on your organs and your body. Someone who loses like that and gains it right back sometimes does more harm than they did good, because of the way the fat was lost and the way you're putting fat back on. So as we're adopting a plant-based diet, as we're talking about getting onto a plant-based diet, I really want to move a good amount of the discussion away from just the fact that a plant-based diet, yes, it is healthy if you're trying to lose weight. Yes, it is. It is super healthy if you're trying to lose weight, as someone who lost 100 pounds. And if you're someone who's trying to reverse a chronic disease, it is very effective in preventing, treating, reversing chronic diseases such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. That is well documented. As someone who was obese, I can tell you firsthand. As someone who's seen my father reverse his heart disease, I can tell you firsthand. Someone who's seen and been with many others who have reversed type 2 diabetes, I can attest there. And the research is included in the book. But so we're talking about those things are great, but also our longevity. So when we're talking about health, what can a plant-based diet do for you long-term health-wise? Well, it can help you live. The research shows 6 to 9 years longer than your meat-eating counterparts. That's what the Adventist health studies are showing. And also, it can reduce from, there's other research out there, but talking about that one showing that the meat eaters not eating a plant-based diet were twice as likely to develop dementia as their non-meat eating counterparts. So there's just a few facts for you, a few tidbits, a little excerpt from the new book, The Plant-Based Diet for Beginners. If you guys haven't checked it out, please let me know what you think of it. It's on Amazon for pre-order, both the Kindle and paperback version. It ships December 10th, just in time for the holidays. I know I've been hearing from a lot of you who have been reaching out saying, "Hey, Gabriel, I've got one book on order for myself, one to send it out to my daughter, one send it out to my son, one send it out to my best friend." And it's so incredible to hear that, because I truly believe this book does have the power to really change some lives this holiday season, especially also as we're getting into the new year and thinking about things like New Year's resolutions, individuals wanting and families wanting to change their health. Well, one of the most frustrating things that can happen around the New Year's is dedicating yourself to a new diet, dedicating yourself to a new exercise regimen, and not seeing the results, and or seeing adverse results, which happens year after year and after year after year after year after year after year for many families. And so getting information about a plant-based diet into their hands, whether through book means, through sending them some great plant-based videos, some great lectures from plant-based speakers, or just leading by example in your own life and showing them what a plant-based diet really means to you, can play a huge role in helping to change the lives of the loved ones in your life, whether family or friends. And it's also, especially as we're talking about getting close to the holidays, and we're going to be sitting around. Here's the deal. We are going to be sitting around the kitchen table around family and friends this holiday season. And if you're not, I'm thinking about you, but I know a lot of us are going to be sitting around with family and friends, and we're going to hear Uncle Buck and Aunt Becky talk about all their ailments and pills and potions doctors got them on this year, and how their back's hurting, their knees are aching, and how they gained 20 pounds and they just don't know how. Wow, all while they're sitting around the holiday table, partaking and eating fat-filled animal foods, standard American diet foods, shoving their face with dead animals and animal secretions, and oil, and just a bunch of garbage, and all while saying, "Gosh, my doctor just says it's all genetics and I can't do anything about it," as they're eating a 2,000-3,000 calorie meal full of animal products and crap. And so that's when we can jump in, and we can we're not going to be preachy. We're not going to be authoritarian to them or anything. We're just going to say, you know what? Especially if this maybe at your house, it may work a little bit better. But you know what, guys? We're not going to be talking about all the aches and ailments and pains. Let's talk about, if someone else maybe where's they're eating a plant-based diet. Maybe we say, you know what, John, Jill, how's your year been? Well, you know what? I tried that plant-based diet thing, or maybe this is you talking about it. You say, you know what, guys? I've heard all your aches and ailments. Let me tell you about my year. Let me tell you about my year. And you say, you know what? I started the year, I was 50 pounds overweight. I was on 4 different prescription medications. Doctor told me that it was just all genetics and I couldn't do anything. And I even asked, hey, could I, some friends are doing some diets. Could I do something? No, it can't change anything. But you know what? I decided to give it a try. And this year, you know what? I got off of 3 medications. And, my knees were always inflamed and they were always kind of hurting. I know it was because I was a little bit overweight. Well, guess what? I lost 20 pounds this year and I just feel so great. And I think that would really help Uncle Buck and Aunt Becky. I really think that if you gave this a try, it'd really make a difference. And just that, and maybe they say, oh, whatever. But you know what? Next year, when they're still going through the same things and you're feeling even better and healthier and even more energetic, that's when they may say, hey, you know what? You were talking about something last year. Do you have any resources on it? Do you have anything that, might help me get started with that diet you were talking about? Any tips or tricks that you might, have to get going? And you could point them to a book like this. You could send them to a great video by Dr. McDougall, by Dr. Esselstyn, by Dr. T. Colin Campbell, and you could send them those places, or you just could tell them, hey, these are the simple things that I've done this past year or two that have really made a difference. But I know how frustrating it is. I get a lot of messages from a lot of you saying, hey, what do you do when you're around a dining room table, or you're at the holidays with family and friends who are maybe eating a terrible diet and you want to help them, but they don't want to listen. And, again, I say the 2 things that you can do are you got to love and lead them. If you love them, you won't just say, forget about it. You're not listening to me. I don't care. Well, it's frustrating, Even more frustrating when you love them. But if you love them, you stay connected and you say, you know what? Whether you need me to help you today or next year or in 10 years, when you ask and when you come to me for help, you know what? I love you and I'll be thinking about you and I'll be right there with you when you're ready to make this change. I hope it's sooner than later. And then once you've been loving them, you need to lead them. So you can't just tell them about the wonders of a plant-based diet. You can't just tell them how great you're feeling on a plant-based diet. You've got to lead them. And that might be different for others. If you're just getting started, 6 months onto a plant-based diet, 3 months onto a plant-based diet, right? You're not going to be able to say I lost 100 pounds or this or that. But at least show them, hey, you know what? My face is slimmed down. I've got this energy. My aches and pains, inflammation's gone down. That's the type of leading you can do in the beginning. And then 2 years, 3 years down the line, you say, you know what? I lost 50, 75 pounds and I got off this medication. That's the type of leadership that your loved ones really need if you're going to help affect the change that they really are going to need to really help recuperate their health and get back onto their feet again. So I really hope that this was helpful. We've been answering questions down in the comments as this video is going, so hopefully those were answered. And if you've got a topic that you'd like for me to cover before the book's release on December 10th, we're doing these live streams every night. And so sometimes they're a little bit shorter, sometimes they're a little bit longer, but the key is I'm jumping on here, hopefully answering some questions, and we're just kind of getting after some excerpts from the book and really talking about a plant-based diet and beginning it. If you're beginning, I really hope that if you get the book, you find it super enjoyable, really helpful, and if you're someone who's an avid plant-based eater, and you get the book, I really hope that you enjoy the recipes. Ooh, I was just looking. Look at that. A cold brew peach iced tea, a maple cinnamon latte, all whole food plant-based, low fat. Really easy, simple recipes. So thank you all for watching. I am Plant-Based Gabriel. If you haven't heard it already, I love you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful day. Holidays are coming up. I'm sending a lot of love your way. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the share button, and tag someone that you think that would find it helpful. And again, the Plant-Based Diet for Beginners is out for pre-order now, both Kindle and paperback on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Angus & Robertson, and anywhere books are sold. Thank you so much. We'll see you and talk to you very soon.